No, the guys, Newcastle. I got the pleasure of eating some delicious food, meeting the owner of Native Cave Restaurant, and getting to film in the kitchen. So I hope you enjoy the footage, and yeah, enjoy. Yeah, today's episode, I'm in Newcastle, back up north. It's a little bit different this episode. It was a little bit unexpected, obviously, but at the same time, I'm absolutely buzzing to have this guest on and to basically talk about their business. Yeah, like I said, we're in the centre of Newcastle. We're just on Mosley Street, and I'm in Native Cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the owner, Hawa. She owns it with her husband, and we're going to get into it. So, before I get started, I'd just like get to know a bit about you and a bit about your husband, just before we get into the restaurant itself. So, I guess I've just got a few questions, really. So we'll get into it. Class. First question: how did you learn to cook? Like, what interested you?
My cooking skill came from my grandmother.
Fair.
So I'll say we're a family of cooks because my mom is a very good cook. So we took that skill from my grandmom. But before then, I used to be one that would run away when they say it's time to go into the kitchen. I will literally like hide, go to my great grandma's bedroom or go to the cinema just so I can avoid,
Really?
yeah, and just so I can avoid going into the kitchen.
I'm the complete opposite. So mine's exactly the same as yourself. Like my great grandma, my grandma, my great auntie, like they introduced me into cooking. But mine was like the complete opposite. It was like any opportunity, I'd be like in there
In the
straight
kitchen.
away. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it was just like an opportunity to get away from my other family. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I,
it'd be
I
like,
was literally like forced into it. So
really?
yeah.
But do you enjoy it? I guess obviously you wouldn't start a restaurant if
So
you didn't
my
enjoy food.
first food that I cooked was a stew, and because I was raised in Sierra Leone, I was born in Liberia, raised in Sierra Leone, spent most of my life there. It was this stew that I had to make, and it was very salty, but I
Right.
did it intentionally. So
So you didn't have to make it
yeah,
again.
but she caught onto it, and she was like, "You're gonna make it again."
Yeah, yeah,
So
I get
the
that.
second time, she's like, if this is salty this time, you're going to eat it by yourself. That's going to be the whole
Oh.
food that you eat till it's finished. So I adjusted that and I was like, no need to be mean about it. So yeah.
So that's what got you into it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just basically like a family sort of cultural thing. It's just something that you've
Yeah.
always been interested. Well, not necessarily interested, but something that's kind of been put on you from your
Install.
family and stuff
Yeah,
like that. I guess that's a good thing, though. Do you know what I mean?
it
Obviously, like
is.
you learn a lot, but from your family by doing that.
Mm-hmm. And there you have to like, from the age of 5, you have to sit in the kitchen.
That's
In
it.
yeah, in Africa, you have to stay in the kitchen because even washing the peppers, even washing the dishes, even like passing the fish, just doing something, they teaching you from that young age so you can see. Because for me, cooking is also like teaching, but also let someone learn at a slower pace
Yeah, yeah.
and getting
I,
into it.
I totally get that. Like, that's kind of how I learn is like, yeah, I have to be doing to do something.
Yeah.
So, like, you put me in a kitchen and you go,
Mm-hmm.
you do this, and it's stuck in there. Do you know what I mean? Or
Definitely.
especially once you've done it like 10, 15, 20 times and you're doing it
Yeah,
on a day to
get
day
used to it.
basis, you get used to it, don't you?
Yeah.
So, you said you're from Sierra Leone, did you say?
Born in Liberia, Sierra Leone. So Liberia, Sierra Leone.
Fair, fair, fair. So, when did you move to England and to Newcastle?
In 2009.
2009.
Yeah. So I came here to meet my mom. So my mom is here. Got like most of my family that are here now. My little brother, my stepdad. So yeah.
Are they based in Newcastle?
Yes.
Oh, amazing, amazing. So, did they come on to, like, from Newcastle from 2009 onwards? Like,
No, she came early. I think my mom was here since 2004.
so, but you've always had connections in the northeast and in Newcastle and
Yes.
stuff like that.
Yes. I don't want to move.
Do you know?
Yeah, I actually went to Birmingham for uni.
Right, right.
Spent 3 years there,
I've
and
never actually been. I've not heard great things about Birmingham as a city. but at the same time,
That's
I come from a town that's very industrial, so like
mm-mm.
I can't say much in terms of like.
No. Birmingham is actually lovely.
Is it? I can
Yeah,
imagine it is. To
it's
be
a
fair, like
beautiful place.
yeah,
But I think it depends on the people that you meet there,
definitely,
and
definitely.
they're absolutely lovely. Had loads of Jamaican friends because I worked in a nursery as well, and
Fair.
yeah,
So I feel like that's like where most places that you go though. Like I think everywhere gets a bit of a bad reputation,
that's true.
and then it's like you said, it's just about the people that you meet, about the connections that you make. It's about
Mm-hmm.
like creating friends and family that are there, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah,
people that you want to call your family, and like just you know that you go back down to Birmingham, you've got people you can go see and
oh
stay
yeah.
with and stuff like
I've
that.
been
So
there like a couple of times, even though I've moved down here, and yeah, I still have. It's been quite a long time. I haven't messaged my friends from Birmingham, but I still have that connection there.
that's nice though. That is really nice. Like so what did you study in university?
I did childhood studies.
Fair, fair. So that's how
Yeah,
you got into being a teacher.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It's mainly like in a nursery from LES,
yeah.
LES childhood studies. Did that in 2016. I graduated with a BA honors and moved back to Newcastle.
Fair,
Hmm.
fair. So do you like it in the north? You
I
enjoy the
do.
north?
Oh, I love Newcastle.
There's so much about it, isn't there? Like I'm only from 45 minutes down the road, like in Middlesbrough, but like we moved up here and it was kind of like moving to a whole new place, like whole new environments. Like the community that's up here is so like welcoming in like terms of like every place I've ever worked at. They're so friendly, so lovely, so easy to get on with.
Yeah,
Like everyone's just really adaptable and like that's the one thing I love about it. It's a very diverse city, isn't it? Like
it is. And just like the way how people are so friendly.
yeah.
And normally you don't get that in other places. And you go somewhere and people will just be like,
It's Geordies.
yeah,
Geordies, especially, they're
they
renowned
are,
for being like the nicest
they
people.
are. I'm like,
Um,
not even because I'm here. I class my children Jordis.
yeah,
Yeah,
you do.
they
You become adopted into
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 it.
the
Yeah,
city. So like obviously, we've got a mutual friend. You know him more so than me, but
yeah.
Daps.
Mm-hmm.
When I was speaking to him, like he was asking me a few questions, and he was saying like, "Oh, are you a Newcastle fan? Are you like a Toon fan?" And I was
Right.
like, "Well, I'm technically not allowed to say
Say
this
no,
because
no.
I'm from a like I've got a football team
I
45
hope you're
minutes
not
down
gonna
the
ask me
road."
that question
No,
because
I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not. It's like,
because that
but he asked me, and I was a bit like, yeah, I am. Like in my heart, I am a little bit of a Toon
yeah,
fan. Like I've been to
yeah,
probably more Newcastle games in the past 10 years than I have been to Middlesbrough games in 20. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
like for me, it's like, yeah, you just become adopted by the town, and it's so welcoming, and there's just so much going on. But obviously, you've added to that. You've added to like the culture in Newcastle. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like you've brought something that it doesn't necessarily have in terms of like Afro-Caribbean food. I know there is place like you said on is it West Lane and stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that
Westgate restaurant.
on Westgate Road. Sorry. But it seems to have like pushed itself into one sort of area, and then like you've kind of brought this into like the main strip of Newcastle, just
Yeah.
off Dean Street. You're on Moseley. Like you've
Mm-hmm.
got the connection coming from like train station down the road. You've got like Monument just at the top of the road. You've got the Quayside at the bottom of the road. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you have like
In the
put
center,
yourself in this
center of
nice little
it.
central location. Do you know what I mean? Which is
A
amazing.
little place. Yeah.
It is, yeah. But what you've done with it's amazing. Like I remember what it was before
Thank
you
you.
guys put into here, and like it was nice enough. Do you know what I mean? Those guys didn't really last very long, but I can imagine. I can just see with like the vibe that you guys have got. It's like it's not just about immersing like your culture into it,
Yeah.
is it? Like you said, it's about bringing people from Newcastle that are
Yeah.
walking by and they're just like, "What is this place?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it catches their eye. Like obviously, the I guess the minute they step in here, they'll hear the music, they'll smell the food, they'll see the vibe going on, they'll
Yeah.
just be like, "Yeah, this is it." Do you know what I
This,
mean? I need to
yeah,
be here.
definitely. It all comes down to we wanted to bring something in town. Like I would say the city center, because there are restaurants that have been open, like African restaurant, that've got like African food, like more of like Nigerian. Um and we just wanted to bring something that has like the African taste to it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So if anyone's come in, they will think they're having like the same seafood that they normally have in other places. But when you come here, our seafood is totally different because we just want like that difference and bringing the taste to people and just like we're here, but we want to also give you something that you won't normally have or even try
Yeah, to be
in
fair,
different
like
places.
I've had certain bits of like South African food and stuff like that just from my friends, but like you said, it's not very kind of mainstream in that sense in
Yeah.
terms of being available to a lot of people. And
Mm.
obviously, like you said, yours is predominantly more like a seafood style grill, isn't it? And obviously,
Yeah.
then you do other stuff that goes with that, like you do awesome chicken wings. So I'm going to try all of this,
Oh
by the way,
yeah.
after as soon as we've done this, and this is getting clipped into here. So expect delicious food videos, but
Yes.
yeah, you don't really get to actually sort of try like a mix between like the authenticity of it and then the kind of upscale culture that you guys are
Yeah.
bringing. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because you're in a city. Normally it becomes like, I've been to Afro-Caribbean restaurants before, and normally it's kind of like somewhere that's tucked away, a little sort of cafe style. Like a lot of people might not feel like they're not necessarily welcome to go in, but might not feel
Mm.
comfortable. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But
Yeah.
whereas here, like as soon as you walk outside, you can see like once again, it's a vibe. There's no sort of segregation. Do you know what I mean? Like you want
Yeah.
to bring up your culture by all
Yeah.
means, but you want
And
to bring
other
in
people,
culture
yeah,
into
and
it.
just like include everyone. That's why we have some meals on the we have like vegetarian meals, and we have like meals that other people can come and try. And also it doesn't have to be like the seafood, it doesn't have to be like the mainly like African, but we also want to oh can come in, we can still cater to your needs and what you want.
Yeah, yeah.
So sometimes if people are looking at the menu a bit stuck, I'll go there, I'll ask my staff, go there, do you want any recommendation? And I do that quite a lot, like just recommending. I just need to know what type of meat you like. If you
Yeah.
like a fish person, I'll be like, okay, try this. If you're like a meat person, I'll be like, okay,
I,
try this one.
I love
And
that. I love that as a chef. I love the idea of someone coming up and actually like caring about what they do and
yes,
actually wanting to give you a bit of time and sort of like accommodate for you to some respect. You know what I mean? Obviously, you
yeah,
guys want to do what you guys do well, and you want people to appreciate that. But at the same time, like you said, you can you get to go over and like say, right, what meat do you prefer? How sort of hot do you like it? What do you
yes,
like to go with it? Do you know what I mean? And kind of be able to tailor those things because it shows how attentive you are. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean to the business itself?
It's
Um,
also about giving like a good customer service in a way. Just because someone comes in, yeah, it's money they're paying and stuff like that, but also being personal.
yeah,
That's what I like. I like everyone living here and feeling very happy. And oh, I had a really good meal and I had an excellent customer service, because at the end of the day, that impression is what will bring them back or make them talk about your business.
yeah.
And
Your food can be amazing,
yeah,
but if you don't have like great customer service or the like you said, you don't have the necessary like attentiveness to people, they might not necessarily come back.
come
But
back.
if
Yeah,
you're giving them that, it's essentially your unique selling point, isn't it? It's not
yes,
just the food. Like in business, you have a multiple selling points, and
yeah,
for you is obviously your personality, what you can give to customers on a whole. And
yeah,
the reason, I guess, I'm speaking for you here, but the reason why is because you're proud of what you do,
yeah.
so you're more than willing to share that with
Share,
people and to
definitely.
want to explain what you do and to be proud of what you do. So you're more than happy to go up and be like, right, guys, this is what we do. Da, da, da. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Talk through it. But
And it took us quite a few quite a few time for us to get it right or get it to the way where we are like we're still improving.
yeah, you
I'll
always will
say
be.
we're new, but we're not new. At this time, we shouldn't be getting like complaints from customer or anything. But when we started, there was loads of things, and I always like. I know most people be like, "But why do you like bad comments?" I love it because that's the customer coming in, their own point of view, what they think and what they want
Yeah.
in return from you. So when I get that, I work on
It
those points
it
that are
sets like a
given.
level of expectation, doesn't it?
Definitely.
And it helps you be able to increase like what you do as a business.
Mm-hmm.
So like not like you're trying to put yourself out there for everybody, but
Yeah.
like you said, obviously with you being quite a relatively new business to some respect, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Is like you're trying to find what works for you,
Yeah.
and I guess that does. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you've worked out the kinks to get to that point of going. Actually, you know what? I can, as long as I spend this bit of time with people and give them, and like you said, reading through comments and reading through
Yeah.
feedback to go, you know,
Yeah.
how can we improve this?
Definitely.
How can we make this better? I'm not going to rush too much at the food side. I want to just kind of speak about how you started this place.
Okay.
So, like, we've spoken on the phone, we've had a little chat and stuff like that. You said prior to this you're a teacher. So what made you get in the restaurant game?
My love for food.
Fair.
I love cooking. I know at home now I struggle because I'm in the kitchen all the time here.
I know that feeling far too well.
But when I was at home, I love cooking. Like I would just look at a recipe or look at a meal and I make it. So it's just like a visual for me, and I won't make it to how it's on.
Yeah, you
Like
put your own
ingredients and
flair and
stuff.
your
I'll put
own.
my own flavor, I'll put my own taste and everything into it. I can make like one of the best spaghetti bolognese or meatball, and I'll just make it to my own, marinate in the meatball.
Yeah.
I'll buy meatball from the shop, but I'll just come season it,
Yeah.
marinate, put all my stuff in things that I need just to get that flavor. So I love cooking. And when my partner brought this idea that restaurant, and I was just like, okay. The initial plan was I'll still be working.
Yeah.
But like
the demand of the
getting,
business just requires you, doesn't it?
Getting a chef and everything is just
it's finding a chef with your vision. That's the hardest thing.
The vision and a consistency,
Yeah,
and a passion.
Yeah.
Because we've had chef, when we started, we had chef, and yeah, it was there, but not how we wanted it. And
Yeah.
it just had to come down to I had to leave my teaching, and I actually completed 1 year for my PGCE.
All right.
Yeah, in Newcastle college. So it was just it was a hard decision, but at the end of the day, it was also an easy one. It was either this or me going back and working for someone and being into that working routine, which was amazing, and I love my teaching absolutely. If in a heartbeat I can leave someone here that trust 100%.
Well, I guess that's part of like opening a business, though, isn't it? Is to kind of like you want to put things in place to give you the stability to be able to do other things in your life as well. Do you know what I mean? It's not just about the business, because otherwise it kind of takes a lot away from yourself. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be able to manage those things. And like you said, in time, it might just be a case of, once again, you find a chef, like you get this place to like the position that you need to be in, where you can kind of take a step back from the kitchen. Do you know what I mean? And then you can get back into like going home, cooking food, appreciating. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that you don't appreciate food, but I know exactly what it's like when you're a chef and you've spent longer than 8 hours just stood on your feet in a kitchen. You've barely drank water. Do you know what I mean? You're just trying to get through, and then you get home and you're like, I don't know what to cook now.
My favorite food now is noodles.
Noodles, just nice, quick, easy noodles. You get loads of vegetables in there.
People ask me, why do you eat noodles all the time? It's the easiest food I can make. Like literally, pack of noodles. I'll put like egg. I'll put like
you can make it your
salami.
own. You can make it like sort of ramen style, can you?
But it's just easy. It's just like an easy choice to go to, and
especially late on a night as well, when you're getting home and it's like past midnight, and the last thing you can do is like getting the pans out and start cooking when you've got kids as well. So the last thing you need to be doing is getting full pans out, everything, doing so. But
even my partner, just noodles.
So you started this, it was a year ago, wasn't it? Like just short of a year. Yeah. So was it July 23rd, 2023 was doors opened?
Yeah.
How long did it take before the doors opened to get this place to, like the idea in place, I guess?
We had the key April 4th. And from April, May, June, July, so like 3 months or just for us to, and it came to a time like we didn't know when we wanted to open. We keep pushing like the opening time, the opening date and stuff like that, and we're just like, you know what, just have to wing it, because everything was set up and it was ready to go. But in this line of business, it doesn't always work out for you.
Oh, never. Nothing's ever linear. You could put a million plans in place and think every one of them's going to work, and you'll find one of them does.
No.
And it'll be the last thing that you do as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You're like, and then like you said, sometimes you just kind of got to take the leap. You've kind of got to go, you know what? It's either going to work or it isn't. And like you said, then if it doesn't, we change it and we do something else with it. Do you know what I mean? Because which you have anyway, like you said. So was there any difficulties with kind of turning it into reality? Do you know what I mean? Like, because obviously it's you and your partner that own it, and like you said, you've got kids, you're a teacher and stuff like that. So would you say that even just kind of getting the premises or anything like that?
Yeah.
I think we mentioned on the phone that you were looking at somewhere else, and that kind
Yeah.
of didn't work out.
We're looking at a bigger space because the initial plan was we wanted a restaurant, a bar, a shisha, and like a all in one.
Yeah, like a
And we had
lounge, a
that
bar,
space, yeah.
eatery.
We had that space for it. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. But I always say, or I believe that if something doesn't work out, there is also a bigger plan for you.
Yeah, there's probably a
Because
reason.
where we it was a quayside and probably we won't get like the attraction. It'll probably be like people just want to come for like weekend clubs.
Yeah,
So most people won't drive all the way there just to come for food. So when we saw and this place was actually on for like 6 weeks or so. So we kept coming back to it and just like came have a viewing. And when we saw it, it was absolutely a mess because it's been here since 2020 during the
yeah, just
lockdown.
nothing in it.
Yeah. So we had to like work, and kudos to my partner. He used to come home at 3, 4 in the morning after coming in here and just working quite a lot.
Just trying to get it built up and fixed. So did you do a lot of the work yourselves then, like in terms of putting the aesthetics and everything in here?
Yeah, he did
Everything.
all of this.
Did he?
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing, to be fair.
He
I
did
absolutely love
like
it.
and we have like a very good family friend that comes in. Him to come during the fasting time. Will be working here till like morning and go home, sleep, come back again in the evening. And he had another job that he was doing. So we had a lot of help from our family and friends, and just like the support with looking after the kids and coming in here and just like getting on with things. I painted that toilet. I did.
It's it's what you've got to do though, isn't it? In terms of like when you're starting a business, like everyone thinks that you kind of go at it alone. Like you think, you know, people, especially when they're starting something for themselves, everyone's like, oh well, they're doing their thing, and but it isn't. Like you have to reach out to people in terms of like starting a business or even maintaining a business.
Yeah.
There's always favors you're going to pull left, right, and center. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, we got
And then
help.
obviously you give them back in return for something else. Like you're
Yeah.
getting free food for the next month. Don't worry. Anytime you come in, you're sorted. Do you know what I mean? But it is just kind of like swings and roundabouts. We've got a lot of stuff like that at our work where there's people come in. We know electricians, plasterers, all this, and
Yeah.
it's just always like a little job that needs doing. Do you know what I mean? You're just
Yeah.
like, I'll sort you out, though. Bring your family down over the weekend. You know, like I can't pay you a
It's
lot, but
absolutely like just phenomenon with the amount of help and love that we get from people, and especially our families and friends when we wanted to open. We have people coming down from London for the opening night. It was just like crazy from all over
yeah,
Manchester, Scotland, and
like bringing the culture and
yeah,
bringing the
bringing
family,
it,
bringing everyone up
yeah,
to here
just
where it
like
should be appreciated.
yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, like, what did your husband do before the restaurant?
He owned a car wash.
Fair, fair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they always seem to be good money for some reason. Car
It
washes.
was
I
it
don't know what
was
it
good, but
is.
lockdown time it was just
Oh, is it sort
crazy.
of
Yeah, that's when it slowed down. So before we initially opened this place, and it was just like a little bit of struggle of trying to get that balance again, because the car wash was doing pretty well. Um, but yeah, so we just had it to do, and but this has always been his dream.
I was about to say, I think
It's
when we spoke on
always
the
been
phone,
his
you said
dream
it's always
because
been something in the back of his
he's
mind.
watched his mom used to be a chef as well in Nigeria, so he's watched her and he used to help her. They call it people that sell food industry. I don't know the name, but when it comes to me, they so from that age he's seen mom being
Yeah,
helping, and so he's always had that
like a
passion
desire
and
to do
bring
something
yeah
with it and to
and
like sort of
he's
celebrate his mom and stuff. I guess like
definitely. So he's the one that helps to cook
is
now
he?
at home. Yeah. And he cooks here as well.
Oh,
So
class,
he's
absolutely
absolutely
class.
amazing. Just love
What's
him.
your husband called, sir? Just
Ola
so I can
Olakunle.
fair, fair, fair.
Yeah.
So he's been open just less than a year. How have you found it? Like the response from Newcastle, the people, like you said.
Oh, it's been amazing. I sometimes when it's full in there, I know it gets overwhelming with us because we have a small kitchen, and you see people just eating the food and absolutely appreciating it. And we even have few times when people be licking their hands, and it's just like that joy. Because when you're cooking, yeah, you're cooking for, but you're also bringing people together in
Yeah,
that community. And I think we have our community now
yeah,
of people that are willing to come in, try new tastes, even though sometimes you don't even know what they're doing with the crab, the lobster, and stuff. And they were just like, come in. It's my first time having seafood, but this is one of the best food or meal that I've had.
yeah, definitely.
Or our steak, people commenting, this is absolutely amazing. And just that it's more than money, it's more than anything, it's more than like, it's just that joy fills me up so much.
I know the feeling with it. So in my coffee shop, I've got it's an open kitchen essentially. It is tiny, very, very tiny. We do a lot in such a very small space and pretty
Yeah.
much only fit one chef in the actual kitchen, but it's fully wide open. So the minute a piece of food goes out,
Yeah.
I see someone stood there, they look at it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You see
just
like the eyes light up on it before they even took a bite, they smell it at first and they're like, oh my God. And then as soon as they take a bite, you just see that delight hit them, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it is those little things, like you said, I could be absolutely rammed full. I could have a queue of people ready for takeaway. But you do have those little moments of joy that
Yeah.
you've got to take in between, don't you? Because if you don't, it becomes very difficult to, especially like you said, the hours that you work. You do a lot on your feet. You're running around a lot.
Yeah.
But actually having those moments of joy and just going, oh, you know what, this is what makes it worth it.
Yeah.
Is the fact that like people are coming in appreciating. Like you said, for me, I've got an open kitchen, so I literally have people as they're leaving the shop going,
Yeah.
mate, that was the best like thing I've ever eaten since da 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 da.
Yeah.
Or since I went to that place that you've
Yeah.
based that dish on. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm in my coffee shop, I make like fresh made bagels every day.
Oh,
And it's like
love
traditional,
bagels.
like New York Reubens, like your salt beef, all that stuff that we brine. But like people would be like, "Oh, this is the best thing I've eaten since I went to New York." And obviously, that is like a massive compliment,
thing,
isn't it? You
yes,
pat yourself on the
yes.
back and go, "Oh, wow." With me, it's different though, because for you, it's something you got brought up with. It's your background.
Yeah.
So for you, I guess it might be slightly different because like you learn from, like you said, your mom and stuff like that. Like your family. So like I don't know whether the feeling's any different for you because you've been cooking the same stuff for your entire life. Do you know what I mean? Me making bagels, I've never been to New York. So it's kind of hard for me to compare.
Yeah. But the thing is, and I always say, if I won't have this meal, I don't want to serve it to anyone.
Yeah.
And just making sure that the meal that I've served is up to a standard, because I'm very picky when it comes to taste.
Yeah.
Um,
You've got to be as a chef though, don't
yeah,
you?
I hate bland taste. I hate eating food. I know hate is a strong word, but it's just, I dislike food that don't have taste or flavor or anything. And sometimes if I can even walk around with sauces,
Like a little bottle of sriracha
yeah,
or a
I
little
will.
something
I
in the
will.
bucket.
I will. Hopefully in the future we'll be doing like a bottle of our
Your own
marinades and
sauces and
our
stuff like
own
that.
sauces, because I think our marinade needs to be experienced.
Yeah, we've got like a homemade chili jam that I do at my work, and that's one of our staple things that everyone's like, why don't you put this in a jar? Like this needs to be jarred, and like
Yeah.
we've got a set recipe for it and stuff. So it is one of those things, especially when like you're in a business, you want to be able to reach out to people further than just in Newcastle to want to
Definitely.
bring them here as well. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if
Like
you've
the
got family and
original.
stuff that are like, this is the best sauce I've eaten since thingy, like you need to get a bottle of this or you need to go there and try them. So
I've had times when I have to put the sauce in a tube for people to take home.
to take home, you
Yeah,
do,
and
don't
it's
you?
just
Like I do with coffee
oh my
cups.
god, the sauce is amazing. Can I have some? I'm like, yeah,
I
that's
do with
fine.
coffee cups, you know, the little coffee
Yeah,
cups
like
with the
you
lid on.
just
I'm
put-
putting like chili jam inside of those and then wrapping it in cling film so people can take home for
take
them.
home,
Yeah.
and it's just it's amazing.
Well, if you want any help with branding or anything like that, just give me a shout because obviously, like I said,
will.
that's kind of my thing with. So if you want any labels doing anything like that, just
No
give me a shout and we can
Definitely.
definitely try and help you arrange
I'm
something
gonna be
with that.
bugging you.
Yeah, by all means, by all means. So obviously we spoke about unique selling points as in like the customer service, as in like the things that you give to the restaurant. But I guess like we started talking a little bit about it before, but the biggest unique selling point is your food, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing that draws people in. And then I think as soon as people come in here, they realise that like the music's amazing, that the atmospherics of it are unbelievable. But what would you say like the best sort of selling thing on your menu is? Like, what would you highlight?
The seafood boil.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me on
The
the phone.
seafood boil is just full of goodness because it doesn't leave that kitchen if it doesn't taste right.
Right.
It is literally, I don't think we've ever had a bad food moment with customer. They might not, it might
Understand.
not be, or like someone will be like, oh, let me try this, and they'll have it like the yam. They'll have the yam, and it's not for them. I think that would be kind of just a, I wouldn't say bad, but it's just
That's
something.
preference.
Yeah, I don't like yam. I don't like yam.
As long as they're willing to
But
try it, though, that's the difference. Do you know what I mean?
definitely,
Like,
but the seafood boil is, yeah,
what would you say makes it so special?
because of just how we do it. It's not only we put cream in ours,
Right. So it
and
gives it
we
that
put
richness to
the,
it, that
yeah,
body.
and the marinade that you're gonna try, we put it in. So most of our, the only thing that we put is the paprika and the parsley. No, the parsley is even natural, and the obe that we put for the seasoning. So, but the marinade that we put in is made fresh, and it's literally like our ingredient, our
I
secret
won't give out you. I
ingredient.
was about to say I won't give you trade secrets. So I won't
No,
even
no,
ask you. I won't even
no.
ask you because I know it's not going to leave you.
It's our secret ingredient, and it's absolutely just amazing. Even when we're doing it, if it doesn't taste right, I will know, and I'll be like, it's missing something.
Fair.
The word that I always use, the taste is not tasting.
It's
And the
not
staff would
tasting.
just look at me and like,
It's just
uh
not
oh,
hitting.
she's back again. The taste is not tasting. There's something missing. And I always get what's missing. And once I sort that out, yeah,
I
the
love it.
taste is there.
Absolutely love it. I can't wait to try some. So with us being in Newcastle, do you tend to use like more sort of local suppliers with your fish and stuff like that? Is
Yes.
it
Oh,
is it like tailors or something that you're using that from up here?
yeah.
Yeah.
Our suppliers are all local. Our meat and stuff, it's halal. The only thing that we have there is not halal is our steak.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we even gonna try and shop around to get that sorted. So
I just know that Newcastle, like, I'm going to refer back to it again, but once when we spoke about it on the phone, like
mhm.
Newcastle's so like dominant in like really good fishmongers,
Yeah,
but not enough places
for
use
me.
them unless
Yeah,
you go to the coast.
yeah,
So like in the centre of Newcastle itself, there's probably only a couple of places that might use like a bit of sea bass on the menu, a bit of this on the menu,
yeah,
but no one really incorporates it. Do you know what I mean? And brings
definitely.
everything onto it because like you guys do like is it lobster as well that you used
Yeah,
to like you used to do crab, like it's just like a plethora of like seafood
seafood.
that you do,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
So that's class. That's absolutely class to hear because like that's the one thing I really support is like places using local
Place.
places
Oh yeah.
to really bring them up.
Because one of the thing as well we personalize that is personal to us is choosing what we serve. So I know the place is small, but also every day we do shopping
Yeah,
to make sure that we get fresh
like as
things
fresh
in,
as
and
possible
there's
every day.
fresh meat, there's fresh this, there's fresh that, and just making sure that what's coming out is excellent
Well, that's good with
and
that
the
as well,
taste
though,
is
is because
good.
whether you're saying about going shopping every day, is like you get to control the level of what's coming into your
Yeah,
kitchen as well.
yeah,
So if you're going to like a specific cash and carry, like you said, to get yams, to get certain things,
yeah,
like you're actually getting being able to stand there and feel them, and like
yeah,
which ones are the best, rather than like relying on someone bringing it to you and going
definitely.
like, well, I can't do anything with this, or
With
it's not
this,
up to the
no.
quality that I want to put out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's nice. So basically, you guys are like holding. Um, like the standard
stand,
across every
yeah.
single
It's
aspect. You know
it's
what I
quite
mean?
stressful, but honestly, I won't take it for the world. Like
It's
I'll spend 2 3 hours doing shopping, driving around. I'm coming from one shop to another, and just but I'm getting the result that I want.
yeah, exactly. You
Yeah,
put in like it's hard work, but it's paying off with what you're
yeah,
doing. Do you know what I mean? And
definitely.
like obviously the food will represent that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um. So, how do you find running a restaurant? And I'm gonna get a little bit nitty gritty, and then we'll start talking about some nice stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
Um. How do you find like managing like a work life and like restaurant balance? Obviously, like you said, it's a new business to
Mm-hmm.
you. So there's going to be some adjustments. There's going to be some things. Obviously, like you said, you've gone from being a teacher to now working in a restaurant on a night. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, is it being difficult, or is it just something that you're taking in your stride? Like,
not going to be all like, oh, it's glamorous, or no, it's not. It's very, very difficult because, yeah, I've run other businesses. I own a beauty brand, Hawa Beauty. Um, Started clothing business and stuff like that, and
you sound like me.
just
That's what I do. I just start a million businesses.
Yeah. That those other business I had to put them on hold.
You do, don't you?
Yeah, just so I can focus on this 100%, put it to the stage that we know we want it, that we can leave other people in and they're able to run it. But I think because we are new, and me and my partner, we're trying to like we're still getting our balance.
Yeah.
So we haven't figured everything out yet, but we're getting there. I think it's a day by day step. Like one day we'll be like, this is not working, or this way is not working. Okay, let's regroup. How can we change this, or how can we work on this?
I think that's a massive, like, massively important thing to do in business, no matter what business it is, especially when you're a sort of small independent business as well, is to not being scared of kind of taking that step back a little bit and going, you know what, we need to kind of reevaluate, because otherwise this isn't going to work for us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all good at being successful and having people in the doors, but if you're not necessarily happy with it, then because of the things that it's taken away from your personal life, then you do need to, like, you'll change small things. But I guess that's the thing with like business on a whole, is it's about adapting with the business for yourself, because at the end of the day, this is for you guys. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to bring something to Newcastle, you want to bring something to like an Afro-Caribbean culture, but it's for you guys. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it's easy. It is hard, but over time, like, fingers crossed for you guys, you will just find those little bits that'll just slowly come in place. Like you said, maybe one day down the line, you'll have a chef that you are confident in, that has all the passion that you have. Do you know what I mean, to give? Because I'm in the same position. I'm trying to find a chef myself to kind of replace me, but it's hard. It's really hard, because you have different desires.
We have like a kitchen staff that really, she's amazing. Shout out to Elizabeth. She is absolutely one of the most hardworking lady I've ever met in my life. She will literally but we're still, there's no bubble. She's just not too confident. I think that she can do it. She knows that she can do it. I don't know if it's because we're always there when she's making the food.
I have that feeling with my stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. So we're trying to like see if we can incorporate a day that we know it's not too busy, but also busy.
Kind of let the reins go a little bit.
Like just push her. One of us will be here, but we'll be like, I'm not coming into the kitchen today.
I'll be there if you need me.
Yeah,
but you don't need me.
You have to run the kitchen by yourself, and you have like a help, and just trying to like give her a little nudge.
Just a little boost into where, like, give that confidence into
her. Come on, you can do it.
No, that's amazing.
So
like,
it's hard.
It is hard, but at the end of the day, like, at least you're trying to like big that person up to try and bring them into actually like on board with yourselves. Do you know what I mean? It's not about like, oh well, she can't do it, so it doesn't matter, we'll just look for somebody else, or she can just stick doing that job. Like, you want them to grow and progress with you. Do you know what I mean? Because the one thing I know about businesses is, if you don't bring people on board with you in terms of your staff, and you don't align your vision, if you don't lay that out on the table and say, like, look, this is what I want from this place, guys, and this is what I want from you, but in return, I will give you as much progression as I can. I will give you as much pay increase every time I give you more responsibility as I can. Then, like you said, they'll start to bring ideas, and then they'll start to, like you said, if they're already hard workers and they're already dedicated, then all you need is just that little bit of alignment in your passion and vision. And suddenly the next thing, you've got another step on the ladder. Do you know what I mean? Where you're just working your way up. So fingers crossed for you guys, like, really, especially with, like you said, if you've got someone in the kitchen that you know that can do it, they just need that confidence. And hopefully she'll listen to this and, you know, get a bit of clarification, a little pat on the back of herself, and go, you know what, I can do this. Like,
we absolutely love her.
It's funny, because the next thing I was going to ask about was like, sort of relationship with staff and like customers? Do you have many staff that are in here, or do you just try
Yeah.
and work on a minimum basis?
They are. I wouldn't say staff. I would say family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
You're all a
I'm
bit mad.
quite. I'm one of like, I wouldn't say a boss, but one of like a manager. That I don't like a work environment where there's not smiles and
Yeah.
like literally, I can be that way. Like when
But only when it
it's
gets
yeah,
serious.
I can be serious, but I'm very unserious most of the time.
I'm the
Like
same.
I'll say 90% of the time I am very unserious. I'll be there dancing, just singing and just making the most craziest dance in the kitchen just so they're able to like laugh, like just have that
When you've got so
atmosphere.
many covers going out and it's a stressful environment, though, you need that little bit of
Yeah.
uplift on you to be
Mhm.
like, oh, you know what, this is actually not too bad. Yeah, you
Yeah.
get the groove going, you get the little vibe going, tunes going, you
Definitely.
start doing stupid stuff.
But
Like,
once it gets serious, or there's a missed order, or there's something that they've done, and you've worked here, and you know you shouldn't be doing that, that's when my frustration goes.
yeah, but
It's just like no. But there's that balance, but it's more of like the playful side of me
yeah, but
to
like I
more of
said,
like serious.
even with the staff, as long as you kind of lay the expectation and they
Mhm.
don't overgo, like step over the bounds of
Yeah.
that. Like obviously, like you said, it's a family. Like you don't want everyone to enjoy what they do. You don't want
Yeah.
people just to come in, take money, not enjoy what they do, and go home, because
Yeah.
then it's not fulfilling for anybody, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So if you can like kind of incorporate that into it, but like you said, as long as you set the expectation right, as long as you do this, this, and this, and you make sure you're done properly, then we're
Yeah.
going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
That's
if you don't do this, this, and this, we're
that's
not going to
where
have fun. Do you know
no.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I just, as long as everyone's on board with your vision and like just kind of understands that like
Understand. Yeah.
you're there to have a good time as well. It's not all serious, is it? Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like as much as business is serious, you want to enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
So you want your staff to
Definitely.
enjoy it. You want
To
everyone to come in and have the same feeling as you. Do you know what I mean? Like
definitely.
class. What else was it? So what? So what's a highlight been for you? Like in terms of opening a restaurant? Is it the customers? Is it the food? Is it the freedom?
I would say a little bit of both, and it just boiled into one.
Yeah,
And the customer, absolutely amazing. We have the best community. I don't even want to say customer, but we have the best community of people that have come here. We have our people, and when they come, they know. And we have these two couples that normally come in, and they've literally like going through the menu.
working
They
their
will
way
come
through it
here
each
working
time.
through the menu, and
We
it's
have
like,
people like that in the shop.
and
They're like,
it's
I've tried
just
this. This one's my favorite,
yeah,
but I'm gonna
I
have this
want to try
today. Yeah,
this today. And I'll give them like recommendation as well, like, oh, you haven't tried this. And they will come every evening, even before. Sometimes I'll even close the kitchen, but once the kitchen is open, come on. Then,
yeah.
and even the staff know them. They're like, your people are here, and I know my people, and have loads of my people that comes in, and they're just amazing people, like group of people that just come in with that smile, that happiness. And even sometimes like I'll have like sit down, have a chat with them, or have a shot with them, and just ask about family life or what's going on, because I like to be personal. It's yeah, it's business, but also
And you see, I guess, like I think I mentioned this on maybe my other podcast I do with my friends, but you see it in people as well. Like, so you see these people on a regular basis,
yeah,
and you kind of get to know them, and you notice when things are like going really good for them, and you
yeah,
notice when things are a little bit off, and you kind of like,
yes,
well, I want to give them a little bit more of my attention because, like,
mm-hmm.
I don't want them to feel like that. Like they weren't like this yesterday; they were super
Yeah,
happy or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And you said they come in with a smile, but the smile might not be as
right,
high as it
yeah,
used to be. Do
yeah,
you know what I mean? And you notice that, you notice these things because
yeah,
like you're attentive and you care about your customers and you care about your business. So you're
definitely.
like, right, I want to chat with them. Like, I want
Mm-hmm.
to sit down and talk to them.
Definitely. That's how I am. Just like having a chat, knowing that, oh yeah, it's food, but also deep down, are you alright? Are you okay? So I'm very like personal in that way. And also like the staff and the family that we're building, they're making that easier for us.
Yeah,
We're still learning as we're going, and most of them, they've never worked in hospitality,
yeah,
and
fair.
it's just like that training that they're getting. And sometimes I'll even be like, give them a nod, like, go and ask the customer if they're looking at recommendation, what can I recommend? And I'll tell them if they like this is what you recommend. If they like this is what you recommend. And just like giving them that push. And
That's nice. So I
also,
feel like in
yeah,
every restaurant needs a bit of a brief in terms of like, look, this is what we want to kind of like push
push,
forward
yeah.
and like show what we're good at. So like if
Mm-hmm.
you're unsure, if you're a bit stuck, do you know what I mean? Like this is the thing that's kind of gonna make them want to come back. Do you know what I mean? With the
Definitely.
customer service, like you said, going
Yeah.
up, what can I do for you? Is this good for
Mm-hmm.
you? What not? Um, you said something there about like obviously you've got like certain people that you know that come in and everything like that. Like, have you found like anybody that I guess not you wouldn't? Sorry, let me get this right.
You need to choose your words
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Is have you got anybody that's kind of came in just off on the off chance, and then like you've kind of maybe been a bit unsure, and then you've just realised that you've won them over instantly? And
Yeah,
I'm kind of talking more culturally here, if that makes sense. So it's not
definitely.
necessarily
It's
like
like,
African, or it's not necessarily Caribbean influence. It's more like just someone generic coming from
yeah.
Newcastle off the streets, and then they're like, "Whoa, actually, this is amazing." Like,
We actually, yesterday actually happened. So we had a grandmother and her granddaughter came in, and they ordered the jasmine rice. So I saw it on, and they ordered chicken and jasmine rice, and I was like, oh, because I know jasmine rice is just rice on its own. It
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
have
it's not
anything.
anything.
Yeah. So I actually went to the table and I was like, I saw on the you've ordered chicken and just jasmine rice, but the rice doesn't come with anything. And the granddaughter was like, oh, yeah, I was the one that ordered it. I was like, are you sure? She's like, yeah. So I spoke to the grandma. I was like, well, would you like, you can still have the jasmine rice, but would you like a jollof rice on the house? You don't have to pay for it. I just want you to try. And she tried the jollof rice. She was asking what's in there, and I explained to her, I was like, it's blended tomatoes, parboiled with rice and put in, and it's kind of like a one pot rice. And she was like, yeah, yeah, I'll have a try. And she did, and she finished the plate that I
Did
gave
she?
her. And she was like, this is absolutely amazing. One of the best rounds.
Because that's the thing is, it's not
Yeah.
even necessarily a cultural thing; it's also an age-appropriate thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff like that with my shop. This is just from my experience in when you work in a coffee shop, especially a specialty one. If someone comes in for a coffee, they want it how you're serving it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most people that kind of, I'm going to generalize this,
Yeah.
people that are kind of over the age of 50 or
Yeah.
60 don't expect it because the culture's changed in drinks.
Definitely.
So they expect it to be piping hot.
Hot.
And like you'll give them a drink and they'll take one sip and be like, "Can you put that in the microwave?" And you're like, "That's we don't have a microwave to start off with. I refuse to have one. And two, I'll just make you another drink. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not going to just steam this up another thing."
Yeah.
But sometimes you get shocked by people.
Yeah.
So like you won't realize you'll put a drink down. You don't want to expect someone to want it extra hot, so you do it how we do it best.
Yeah.
They'll take a sip of it and they'll be like,
It's not.
no, they'll like take a sip of it and be like, "That's the best coffee I've ever drank."
Oh wow.
Do you know what I mean? And you're like,
Yeah.
you get took back by it a little bit, and you're
Yeah.
like, I didn't expect that. I
That,
expected
yeah.
you to be coming up in 30 seconds going, "Can I have
Please
this
put it back.
hotter?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you're like, oh, but they haven't. And then they get up and they come up and be like, "Best thing I've ever eaten,"
Yeah.
or whatever. And but I guess that's as a business owner, you like for me anyway. I see sort of like little patterns and trends in certain people,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess you can't generalize everybody. Do you know what I mean? You've
Yeah.
got to take everybody on an individual basis and like treat them individually with respect.
That's true because everyone's taste is different and the background is different and what they've had. Or sometimes people don't even eat spicy food. I've had the lady came in was it on Sunday. She doesn't eat spicy food, but she had a tiger prawn, and I even diluted made it like so it's not too hot for her.
On the
But
marinade, yeah.
yeah, and she's like, I won't normally have this type of spice, but that's one of the best prawns that I've had. But she had it with mayo, with the rice, and she was like, it's really nice. I enjoyed it. And it was just because she wasn't even sure.
She wasn't willing to be
No, she
experienced
wasn't,
into it.
yeah.
But
And
you've convinced her and you've give it a
definitely.
try
And they
something and
had the son had the fish, the sea bass, the whole sea bass, and he absolutely enjoyed it. He's like, this is not I wouldn't normally have something like this or even order it. But when I saw that they were a bit confused and I went there and like, oh, what type of fish do you like? He was like, I actually want to try the sea bass, but I'm not sure. I was like, oh, it's really nice. Like you enjoy the taste, and he was like, okay, I'll go for it then. Had it, loved
Loved
it.
it.
Finished the whole,
Just
like
bones
yeah,
left.
just bones left, and it's things like that. And I was like, yeah, there are people that have come in, they know what they want, but also other people that do not, they're not even sure, or they've never even had something like this. They look at the menu, it's just like not gibberish, but to them it's just like, I don't understand what's this, what does
I think
this.
that's why, like, to be honest with you, when it kind of got put forward with yourself and then we
Mm,
spoke about like setting up a podcast, I think that was one thing I was really excited about was the fact of like you said, you're gonna have people that are coming in, and there's nothing like this really. Like I'll be honest
mm,
with you, not even really in like I don't know anywhere in Middlesbrough, Durham, Sunderland, up to
yeah,
Newcastle. So that's like a big distance of like
yeah,
where there isn't anything really like this. Do you know what I mean?
mm.
So for me personally, I was like, oh, I'm so excited to go because like there's nothing like this in Middlesbrough. I can go try and eat. Do you know what I mean? So I was like,
Definitely.
I need to go because I just want to try food, not
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
So that, yeah, like that's just like a really nice thing that like obviously you're bringing your like highlighting sort of two different cultures as well as
mm,
your own culture. You're bringing in Newcastle's culture into
yeah,
it, and you're just sort of you're just trying to shine a light on like what you guys do and
yeah.
like what you do is special. Do you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I guess last little things. I don't have like loads and loads to go on. Like I think this has been absolutely lovely, just sort of chatting on and like
It
kind of
has
getting your
been.
background and stuff on it.
It has been.
Um, so I guess like kind of one of the last little, almost last little thing is like do you have any sort of like specific vision or dream or goals for the future? Anything that you kind of, I know once again it changes, it adapts, it, you know, things, or is there anything that you, like you said, we spoke about maybe jarring up sauces and things like that, but is there anything in like the forefront of your mind where you go, you know what,
Yeah,
I want to do this, this is what we're going to
yeah.
do?
I have so many since opening a restaurant. Making our own sauce, number one. Number two, having a second location, bigger space. And number three, I want to, like, in a few, not long time, like, I don't want it to be something that will be like 2, 3 years,
Yeah, yeah.
but I want to do one of the biggest African Caribbean food festival in Newcastle.
I don't see why that couldn't be arranged at all. I think there's
Like
so many
just
people that could be
bringing
on that.
different African taste food from different places.
It's like Carnival in London,
Yeah,
like I can imagine it being like that, but in Newcastle, that would be so
putting in
achievable. Like,
Newcastle like a festival just for different food.
I think
Something, food that people would not even think, oh, I want to try that. But once you
just
try
having
it,
like
it's
little
just like you're
stalls
hooked.
setting up and
Yes.
things like that of different stuff that have gone on. That would be
People even having pounded yam and egusi soup, okra, cassavali from Liberia, palm butter, like just different
well. If I can help you arrange that, because like
country
literally
food.
events background is my background, so like that is
Oh,
literally what I
I'll
do. So if you want any help, sort of sitting down and like kind of putting any plans or arrangements in place for that,
that's a dream.
there's a lot of people that I know. I know there's a lot of people that you know that would be able to kind of push that
Push
out there
that.
for you. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Especially with the likes of DAPs and stuff like that, with
Yeah.
like you know putting
And
all
I
this
also want the
networking and stuff
council
out.
to be involved in something like that, just so, because Newcastle is every day new people are coming in
Yeah.
from different background, but now we are seeing loads of African people in, um, and also like loads of Asian,
Well,
different
that's what I was going to say. There was
majority of people.
so
Yeah,
in Newcastle and in Middlesbrough, especially, you have the Miller,
yeah,
which is basically like a predominantly like Middle Eastern, Pakistani, like
hmm,
slight Indian influence. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And obviously you'll have like the likes of like Punjabi MC playing and stuff like that that are on constant. But
mhm,
that's on every year in like Leisures Park in Newcastle. It's on
yeah,
every year in Middlesbrough as well because there's large communities obviously on like that west side of Newcastle, and
yeah,
there's a lot very large like sort of Pakistani culture in Middlesbrough.
hmm,
So and they're rammed. Do you know what I mean? They're always full,
definitely
but they're also always full of every single other background.
backgrounds.
Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Because that's the whole point of it is to celebrate these things. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And to go, well, actually, like you need to get yourself here, and you need to, like you said, need to try this jollof rice, or you need to go here and you need to
try,
try this
yeah.
biryani. Do you know what I mean? And like you're going through and all these different things. So I don't see why that's not achievable at all. Like
That's
especially with
like
like
just something that I want to do if we can be doing it like every year, just so people are introduced to like different food. Because I feel like I'm one of the, I like, in the other plan that I want to have is in a few years, probably traveling different countries and getting different, like inspired by
Yeah.
this country food, because I love Thai food.
Well,
I
this is kind of why I'm
absolutely,
doing this podcast,
yeah.
is because it's a bit cheaper than going to Thailand or going to somewhere else. You know what I mean? Or going to like South Africa or going to Jamaica. Instead, I
Definitely.
just come
Just
meet
go
people
different
that do these things.
places,
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? So instead, I'll just take a little bit of like influence from each person.
It will be a dream, just traveling different places, like Thailand, one of my favorite places I want to go to. Just like knowing how people
Like,
like certain taste, how do you get this taste, and just trying the food and cooking with them as well. I went to Spain on holiday and I almost asked one of the chefs to be in the kitchen with
I'm
them,
like that.
because I'm like, I don't know if they'll allow me. I was a bit like skeptical about, because it was a massive hotel, and I was like, oh, should I go and ask them if I can be in the kitchen, just probably like marinate a chicken for them or just do something for them. But
Um,
I want to be able to do that, just take that bold step and be like, oh, can I like help you in the kitchen and
But
just
but you
learn as
reaching out by
well.
doing that will only incorporate, like you said, like bringing people to a festival, bringing people to an event as well. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you're networking yourself, you're putting yourself out there for people to want to
Mm-hmm.
give something back to you, and then
Yeah.
it's not like you're asking for it. Do you know what I mean? It's just you wanting to do these things. But most of the time, in return, you'll find that like people are like, oh, I really like that person. They've done something off their own back, and like I
Yeah.
want to give something back to them as well. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm exactly the same. Like you said, mine's just I'll just speak to loads of people in the like northeast area for now till I can
Yeah.
kind of build up to that
Oh
point.
yeah,
But
I think you should definitely do that, because you see a lot of kitchen, and sometimes you even be inspired by this and you be like, oh wow,
yeah,
this is
something,
nice, and
or even not
yeah,
necessarily the food side of it, but there might be something you learn about their business,
business
or like
definitely.
something, a little thing they do in their kitchen where you're like, I really like that idea. Do you
Yeah,
know
and
what
I
I mean? Like
wanna
that might work
copy.
for me, and
Yes.
you adopt that,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like it's hard when you run your own place to kind of be able to look at other places, like you said,
Yeah.
or have time to really go to other restaurants and
Restaurant,
stuff.
yeah.
And also, you don't want to go into a restaurant and just be like, oh, what they're doing here, what they're doing there. You want to be
Mm-hmm.
able to sit down and enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
you can take your time away from that and go, actually, what do you do in your spare time?
Yeah.
Then,
But do we actually do that?
hmm?
Do we actually do that, chefs?
No,
No.
no, we don't. We don't at all.
I am literally like, oh, okay. Does this taste nice? Oh, this food looks good, but does it taste nice? I'm literally like always. That's why I make sure that the food comes out
Yeah.
nice, like tasting before it comes out. Because
When you said there about you wanting to go into somebody's kitchen, I remember I went to Spain a couple of years ago. I went into a coffee shop. The coffee shop was amazing, but like the guy was like quite busy making drinks, and I
mm,
was just kind of like, I could see he was making mine, and I was just like just pass the jug of milk and
I
pass
help.
everything over. I'll
Yeah.
just do it, mate. Don't worry about it. And then I just made this perfect like flat white, put it on the side, and this guy was just looking at like, what? Who's this random? Do you know what I mean? Coming into my shop and making better
And
coffee than
making,
me.
yeah.
It's like, do you want a job? And like, I don't speak Spanish, mate, so I can't help you. Do you know what I mean? I can only make mine, but I wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
speak to your customers. I wouldn't be able to do anything else. Like, um, one of the little things I like to do in here
Mm-hmm.
is not just highlight you guys, not just highlight this place because obviously it is amazing. Is kind of in turn of what we're talking about there, going to other restaurants, going to other places and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. Um, I'd like to get recommendations from my guests of anywhere that you would think in Newcastle in the northeast. Not even just there; it could be Birmingham, it could be London, it could be anywhere special.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've had some like amazing food or customer service, something that like you've received that you know you give. Do you know what I mean to your customers?
Mm-hmm.
So can you think of anywhere in like Newcastle or like you said
Yeah. Durham.
in Durham?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Zen.
Zen.
Their food. Yeah. Zen.
So what do they do? What's
It's a
their
Thai restaurant.
right?
The food is absolutely amazing.
Is it very authentic in terms of what they
Yes.
do?
Very nice. Also the atmosphere and the staff are lovely. I've been there twice.
Have you?
Yeah,
I
and
will.
I can
I'll
go
have to
if I can
try.
go. I think the reason why I don't go often is because of the traffic
Yeah, it's
going in
horrible
there.
into
But
Durham.
if I can go like every weekend, I will. Yeah,
Amazing, absolutely amazing.
it's lovely.
Cool. Well, I don't want this to go on too long. I think like you've given us a good representation of yourself and what you do in this place. Like I said, we're going to try some foods and I want to get some videos and stuff, so I'm going to like piece it into this actual video as well. It's going to be a little bit different, this one. It's going to be a little bit more like content orientated, so while we're talking, there's going to be stuff in the background. We're going to see what you're producing and stuff like that, so people, whoever's watching, can kind of get like an actual visual representation of what you do, not just us two sat here talking. Do you know what I mean? Because this is lovely, it's absolutely amazing. But I guess if you don't like follow their account on Instagram, get on that. It's Native Cave. Like, I'm guessing you're on most of the socials and stuff like that as well. Yeah, like I said, we're in the centre of Newcastle, so everyone that's in Newcastle in the northeast needs to come here, needs to celebrate, appreciate, just come try the food, come
try
be
something
part of it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's everything. I'm very thankful for you coming on board.
It's been amazing. I was nervous.
Yeah, me too. It's new,
nervous.
it's fresh.
This is my first time like on podcast, and I was like, okay, just it's kind of like just a chat environment, because I have listened to lots of podcasts, and it's just like calming, just having a chat and stuff like that.
I think the one thing that I like about what I want to do with this is I want to do it at people's places.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I want it to be in your environment. I want it to be somewhere where you're most comfortable. Do you know what I mean? And somewhere that represents like the guests and stuff that I have on, that are coming on. And obviously, I'll get some nice B-roll shots of the place, and we'll stick them in with the nice lights and everything. Like, we'll drop these lights down and get a nice little atmosphere going after this. But yeah, thank you very much.
And also for a recommendation, I thought in Newcastle, if you want to try like authentic African food, they've got Culture, they've got Mile Castle, and Africana and Chopo. Like, those are restaurants that sell authentic Nigerian African food. Their foods are amazing.